Welcome to the F.T.G.U from the ground up podcast, where we discuss everything from construction to real estate investing. We don't bring no hype, no fluff, just real talk. See you inside. Welcome everybody to F.T.G.U from the ground up, season 1, episode 1. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is what construction really costs. And that's one thing a lot of people get messed up from the very, very beginning. What construction really costs. So there's differences in construction costs whenever you come to your bottom line. So you have your new construction costs. You have your remodel construction costs. You have your commercial building construction costs. And these are the things that a lot of people really need to understand. What we're going to be talking about is what construction really costs and why everyone is so confused. One of the things I can see in my day-to-day business, for those of you who do not know, I am a licensed contractor and I work in the Louisiana area in some Southeast Texas markets. But what I can tell you is a lot of people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, whether it's investors, whether it's contractors, whether it's homeowners, a lot of people really don't have a good understanding on the cost of construction. And mainly the differences are you have your residential construction, residential remodel construction, commercial construction, and commercial renovations and investing costs. So once you understand these differences, you will understand how you should be approaching your costs when it comes to construction. A big problem that I run into when I talk to different people, they like to go online to figure out what a construction cost is really going to be. And I can tell you in my experience, that's the first mistake you're making, especially if you're looking for a specific price. So this is the reason why a lot of those prices will be different. They're online. So whenever you have an online tool that you're using to figure out a local market price, you're going to be completely off, right? So online prices are going to give you national averages. This is a big mistake. If you have a project that you're trying to do locally, let's say in Southwest Louisiana, it is going to be completely different from the prices that you're going to get online that might give you some quote from Montana somewhere or somewhere in Florida, So your prices have to be locally focused. Specifically in Louisiana, we have major cost swings, things that cost us completely different from other places that you might find in the country. For example, our insurance costs. Our insurance costs are through the roof when it comes to contractors. Contractors in Louisiana are going to pay way more than contractors in other states, simply because we're one of the most storm-ridden places in America. We have more hurricanes and God knows what else other kind of storms that we have. So if our insurance costs are extremely different and looked at completely different, then there's a high insurance pressure when it comes to contractors and it comes to building particular assets in Louisiana. And we have different code requirements in Louisiana that impact costs as well. Even in comparison, if you compare Southwest Louisiana with Baton Rouge or New Orleans build costs, they're going to be completely different. So if you have a contractor that's coming from New Orleans to come to Southwest Louisiana to give you a quote on Southwest Louisiana work or Southwest Louisiana project, you can't expect those two costs to line up with one another. They're going to be completely different. And so what I want to do today, I want to talk to you guys about what can make those differences, what causes those differences, and how to negotiate and navigate your ways around them and through them effectively. And this is going to help not only the contractor, but it's going to bridge the gap between homeowners and contractors. What I've noticed over the last few years, there's an unspoken war between contractors and homeowners and investors alike. What I mean by that is many contractors are trying their best to take care of their families. Now, there are some that are scam artists and try to get over on people and try to scam the homeowners and things like that. But for the most part, the contractor is your biggest asset and your biggest ally when it comes to doing whatever project that you're wanting to do. But you have to know how to get along with him and speak his language. Likewise, the contractor has to know that most homeowners have no clue on what it takes to build a home, what it takes to remodel a home, what things can come up during the process of renovating a home. Same thing when it comes to commercial real estate. Most people have never stepped foot into a renovation space when it comes to commercial. So many don't know what to look for. So what I want to do, I want to show everybody what to look for, how to navigate through those issues so we can bridge that gap and get more builds done successfully in the Louisiana area. And the reason why the prices are going to be different in Baton Rouge and New Orleans versus Lake Charles and Lafayette is mainly because of labor and materials, but mostly labor. Now, we are all familiar with ICE and what they're doing right now to some immigrants that are in our area. They literally have a task force that's going around picking up guys off of the job sites. And when they picking up guys off the job sites, many of these guys are hardworking individuals, I might say, and that literally are just trying to take care of their families. But what happens is when they send certain people to certain areas to pick up these guys, it hurts the construction industry in more ways than one. One of the ways it's going to hurt it is labor. So now you have a scarcity of labor and you still have all of this construction and production that needs to happen. So what happens when you don't have that many people that can do a specific trade when it comes to subcontractors? The price goes up because now you are all fighting for the same guy or the same work crews to do a certain type of work. And that's going to increase the price. So that's a big hurdle that a lot of people have to try to overcome or try to navigate through to just get a quality project done. These are the reasons why construction costs are the way they are, and they're going to continue to rise as long as we face these challenges when it comes to labor. And another thing that'll cause the price of goods and services to go up in our area. We are the most storm-ridden place in the country. So we have these storm cycles that come through. And whenever we have storm cycles, everyone pays attention. And when they're paying attention to what they can get their product sold for. For example, OSB, plywood, 2x4 lumber, shingles, you name it. These things go up seasonally. Some people do not know that the price of shingles in January are not the same price of shingles in August and September. So these are things you have to think about when it comes to construction costs. If you're a homeowner, what time of year should I build my home? What is the best time of year to build it? And I can tell you from experience, it is in January. If you try to build that same home in the fall, the price of materials are going to be extremely high. Now, I will give you this. There are variances in build costs, and it's not just an all cookie cutter thing. So I will give you that. But I also want to tell you this, that many times the build cost fluctuates because of the lack of communication that the homeowner and the contractor or the investor in the contractor has had along the way. What do I mean by that? Now, I'm not saying build cost ranges aren't a thing. Online build cost ranges can be good for you to figure out what you should be paying. But I can tell you this as well. Those cost ranges are going to stem from standard grade to premium grade to luxury grade. So you have to know what a standard grade is. You need to know what a premium grade is. And you also need to understand what a luxury grade project looks like. These are significant differences and can play a huge role in your build costs. And look, I can tell you right now, if someone is building a residential custom home and they're under $140 a square foot, they're either one, losing money, two, going out of business, three, completely underbidding this project. There's no way, and this is off my own due diligence, there's no way you're getting a quality product done for under $140 a square foot. Do your math, prove me wrong. But if you do find somebody, just refer to the steps that I was just telling you. They either going out of business, they underbid, and I'll talk about this later, how they come back when they underbid. They'll give you such thing as a change order. Now, change orders do exist, but they mostly exist in the renovation space. And I'm only throwing these numbers out there for you to really know what to expect when getting into these projects and what to have your focus on. And I'll show you at the end of this video how to navigate through some of these problems. But before I get into that, I want to talk about labor versus material versus overhead, the real breakdown. Many people ask for breakdowns from contractors and they want to know what they're paying for material and what they're paying for labor, which is good. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't ask these questions, but don't ask these questions if you really don't know what a right answer or a wrong answer sounds like. Many times what I've seen in the past, people ask for these numbers because they think that some kind of way it's going to make the price cheaper. And it doesn't make the price cheaper. But if you don't understand construction, it can really confuse you because there's a difference between labor, material, profit, and overhead. Most people think that profit is what's left over after labor and material is deducted off the bid. And I can tell you that is far from the truth as the East is from the West. What's left over has a lot to do with the overhead. The overhead, for you all that don't understand, the overhead is what it costs the contractor to do the job for you. This is his insurance, as we spoke earlier. In Louisiana, contractor insurance, the trucking industry insurance are through the roof. We had hurricanes that came through in 2020 and 2021 that caused a lot of insurance companies to vacate the state and never come back. But since then, we have the remaining insurance companies that decided to up the price on insurance just because they could, because there wasn't a huge supply for what was needed as far as demand goes. Some of the biggest costs to the contractor is going to be his insurance, like I mentioned, trucks, equipment, warranty, and supervision. Supervision is a thing. Many times people would ask the contractor, how many times a week will you be on the job site? How often are you going to be on the job site? Well, he has to employ a supervisor or a foreman to be there to oversee the projects. Because the contractor, to be honest, he's going to be there, but he's not going to babysit the job. He has a business to run. So the supervisor is going to be there to make sure everything is organized, materials are received, materials have been ordered, the proper materials have been ordered, installations are going the proper way. That way, all of the change orders and the things that could happen down the line don't happen. None other than the fortified system or the fortified upgrade. And in Louisiana, we actually have a resiliency push when it comes to the way we build homes in Louisiana, and it affects the cost. And the Louisiana resiliency push is for the fortified gold standard builds. Another good example is in our local market in Louisiana, we have a resiliency upgrade push that the state is actually requiring from a lot of contractors. And what it does, it helps the homes that we build and the homes that we renovate endure some of this weather and these storms that come through our area. One of the main resiliency upgrades you can get right now is called a fortified system. With the fortified system, you can get fortified silver. And when you build a home with the fortified standards, it also has incentives involved in it where it can save you 33 to 55% on your insurance costs every single year just by building fortified. So when you're keeping all of these things in mind, you can understand how build costs in Louisiana can fluctuate a lot. And speaking of fluctuation, I want to tell you from proven experience that you can get two bids from two different contractors or three different contractors, and the bids can be from $30,000 to $60,000 apart. And many times you'll look and say, well, the contractor that's bringing you the bid that's $60,000 higher than another contractor, obviously he's the one that you should exit out of the conversation and out of the bidding war. But really, many times that $60,000 contract price should be the one that you should look into even the more. Many times the bid that's on the lower end often includes cutting corners that you won't even know about. For example, one bid might include permits, inspections, real timelines, and everything that you need to build the home successful. And another bid may be missing line items and all type of other things, and try to make it up with a change order later on down the line. And the build end up costing you 10 to 20 times more than it would have if you would have went with the guy that gave you everything that you needed up front, although his bid was a little bit higher. And another one of the things that I see a lot is when it comes to clients and contractors and investors alike, many people have this pre-assumed cost already built in their head on what things are actually going to cost. And when you have this pre-assumed notion on what your bid should be without explaining what you're really wanting and understanding the higher end finishes, and when it comes to the pre-assumed bids, many times it is the contractor's fault. Because when he has a bid that he's giving you, many times it's pre-assumed that you want it standard grade, or it's pre-assumed that you wanted premium grade, or it's pre-assumed that you wanted a luxury grade. So without him knowing, many times he'll give you that price and it's a luxury grade, and he never really stopped to ask you what grade of finishes did you want. And we're going to talk about how to fix that at the end of this video. One of the things I want to leave you guys with, so you guys can really capture what I'm trying to tell you, when it comes to code requirements and the way things have to be built, these are not optional suggestions. And you have to know that whenever there's a new code requirement or a new way to build something, it always comes at a cost. And the contractor doesn't have the responsibility to build your project or renovate your project out of his own profits to give you the code requirements that your build requires. These code requirements are literally uniform Louisiana state code requirements, and they must be followed. So like I mentioned before, my goal is to bridge the gap between contractors, homeowners, and investors. And I want to make it where everybody understands what they're bringing to the table, and that way we can get a grip on Louisiana build costs, Southwest Louisiana build costs, Southeast Texas build costs, and we can all work together to build our communities and build our state. So let's get into what are some of the questions as a homeowner or an investor that you should be asking your contractor that'll help you all come together on a common goal on how to get this project done more costly and more effectively. These questions are going to help you to connect better with your contractor. First question, is this price a rough number, or is this price permit ready? With that question right there, that immediately eliminates change order, especially in new construction. If he say it's permit ready, that's telling you that he's looked into every aspect of this project, and he's ensuring you that, hey, with the numbers that I gave you, I can get permits for the sewer, I can get permits for the build, I can get permits for the demolition if I need that. It's everything included. It's showing you that you have a detailed contractor versus one that's just planning on winging it. So if he tell you it's a rough number, take it just as that. This is a rough number, meaning it's going to get rough. So if he comes with 3 to 4 change orders within the first 2 weeks of the project, just know that you didn't ask all the right questions. The second question you should ask, is this price including all of the inspections required for the project? What this does is, when there's certain inspections that just arise during the project in Louisiana, you don't want to have a surprise when you have to pay for the inspection and the inspection is long drawn out and you don't even understand what needs to be done, or if you need to schedule them, or if it's his responsibility to schedule those inspections. I can tell you with the Fortified Gold program, it actually requires an inspection, and the third party is actually called a project evaluator. The evaluator comes in and they come in and check every single thing that's done according to that scope of work, and that build is done in compliance to the Fortified standard. The contractor himself is not able to do his own site evaluation inspection simply because it's a conflict of interest. So it has to be a third-party licensed evaluator. The third question you need to ask your contractor is this bid based on standard grade, premium grade, or luxury grade finishes? If you ask your contractor these questions up front, it'll save you a lot of headaches throughout the duration of your build. And it'll cut down a lot of confusion when it comes to price differences. The fourth question you need to ask your contractor is this build based on fortified standards? If the build is based on fortified standards, you can't expect that cost to be the same as a standard build cost. And if the price does include fortified standards, does the contractor handle all of the required documentation needed to submit to the insurance companies for the discounts related to the fortified build? And last but not least, but does this bid include energy efficient upgrades? With energy efficient upgrades, you're most likely going to be looking at spray foam insulation along the attic, rafters, and in the exterior walls of the home, along with an inverter system for your HVAC. These are just a few things that you can do to bridge the gap between the client, the contractor, and the investor, that we can all build our state in a more unified fashion. So if you found value in that episode, please subscribe and share this with somebody that needs it. We're here to help. We'll have new episodes every Friday. Stay tuned for next week's episode.